The room is dark, but his mind is racing. A sudden jolt wakes him up, heart pounding, breath unsteady. He reaches for his phone, 3:27 a.m. A wave of unease washes over him. What have I truly accomplished this past year? If I keep going like this, will I regret it? Just a year ago, he made promises to exercise, to invest in himself, to live with purpose. But nothing has really changed. And so the cycle continues. Another year passes, filled with distractions, unfinished plans, and empty resolutions. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," only to find that tomorrow never comes? The truth is, most people don't lack time, they lack clarity. Without clear goals, life becomes a blur, a series of days slipping away unnoticed. But what if 2025 didn't have to be another year of stagnation? If you refuse to let another year slip by, now is the time to take control. This is not about setting random goals, it's about choosing the right ones. These 9 Stoic-inspired goals will not only help you live better, but will empower you to master your life. The choice is yours. Stay the same or become unstoppable. Let's begin. 1. Physical and mental health. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training." He wasn't speaking as a mere emperor, but as someone who understood that a weak body breeds a weak mind, and a weak mind leads to a weak life. In today's world, we chase success, wealth, and recognition, but we often neglect the one thing that makes everything else possible: our health. No amount of money, power, or influence can replace it. Look at Steve Jobs, the visionary who built Apple into a tech empire. At just 56, despite his billions, he faced the one enemy he couldn't outsmart: his own failing health. Before his passing, he admitted, "I can hire someone to drive for me, make money for me, but no one can bear the sickness for me." This isn't just a warning. It's a truth many ignore until it's too late. People spend decades building wealth, only to later spend all that wealth trying to buy back their health. But what if you could protect it now? Imagine a high-powered executive, the kind who thrives on deadlines, coffee, and little sleep. Every day, he works 16-hour shifts, skipping meals, ignoring his fatigue, and pushing through stress like it's a badge of honor. He tells himself, "I'll rest later, I'll work out next week." Then, one day, during an important meeting, everything goes dark. He collapses. A minor stroke, the doctors say. He's lucky. It could have been worse. But when he regains consciousness, panic sets in. He reaches for his phone to call his wife, only to realize he can't remember his passcode. The mind he once relied on, the machine that powered his success, is now betraying him. And all because he ignored the warning signs. The truth is, your body isn't just a vehicle, it's the command center of your entire life. A weak body leads to sluggish thinking. Sluggish thinking leads to poor decisions. Poor decisions lead to failure. If you lack the energy to be present, to think clearly, to act with purpose, then how can you expect to master your life? The ancient Stoics weren't bodybuilders, but they understood that maintaining a strong body was essential to maintaining a disciplined mind. But taking care of your health doesn't mean making radical, unsustainable changes. The key is consistency, not intensity. Start small. Move every day, even if it's just a 20-minute walk. Exercise isn't about aesthetics. It's about longevity, clarity, and resilience. Prioritize sleep, because no amount of caffeine can replace the cognitive function lost to chronic exhaustion. Marcus Aurelius himself valued discipline, but even he understood that rest was not a luxury, it was a necessity. Treat food as fuel, not as entertainment or an emotional crutch. The way you eat affects not just your body, but your brain. Mindful eating, choosing whole, nourishing foods over processed junk, can be the difference between mental sharpness and brain fog. Now, before you move on, here's the ultimate test. Drop down right now and do 10 push-ups or squats. If that feels like a struggle, take it as a wake-up call. Your body is speaking to you. Will you listen? Commit to your health before it forces you to pay attention in ways you don't want to. And if you're serious about making a change, comment below. I have completed the health challenge because your first step to transformation begins now. 2. Mastering emotional balance. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words carry a truth that many fail to embrace. Your emotions do not control you unless you let them. Most people live as prisoners of their own reactions, allowing external circumstances to dictate their mood, their decisions, and ultimately, their lives. But the Stoics knew that the ability to control one's emotions is the ultimate power, the key to inner peace and unshakable strength. Imagine this: a promising employee is called into a meeting. In front of his colleagues, his boss berates him for a mistake, his voice sharp, his words cutting. Humiliated, his pulse quickens, his hands clench into fists. Without thinking, he slams his papers on the desk and storms out, his anger consuming him. It feels good, at least in the moment. But 3 months later, reality sets in. The job is gone, his reputation tarnished. He replays the moment in his head, over and over, wishing he had handled it differently. But it's too late. One moment of uncontrolled emotion has rewritten the course of his life. This is the cost of emotional weakness. 1 second of anger, one impulsive decision, can have consequences that last a lifetime. Losing control over your emotions is handing power to those who seek to provoke you. When you react emotionally, you become predictable, easy to manipulate, and vulnerable. But when you master your emotions, you hold the reins of your destiny. No one can make you feel inferior. No one can push you to act against your values, unless you allow them to. The greatest leaders in history understood this well. Abraham Lincoln, a man who faced relentless criticism and political opposition, once wrote an angry letter to a subordinate intending to put him in his place. But before sending it, he stopped. He let the letter sit. Then he tore it up. He understood that a reaction driven by emotion, no matter how justified, could burn bridges he might one day need to cross. And in doing so, he preserved a vital relationship, one that would later prove essential to his leadership. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about choosing how and when to express them. It's about responding, not reacting. The Stoics practiced this daily, and so can you. The next time frustration bubbles up, pause, breathe, count to 10. Feel the emotion, but don't let it drive your actions. Keep a journal to track your emotional responses, recognizing patterns that trigger you. When confronted with situations beyond your control, remind yourself, I do not control this event, but I control how I respond to it. Now, here's your challenge. The next time anger rises, do nothing for 10 seconds before responding. If you can master this simple act, you are already on your way to emotional strength. And if you succeed, comment below, I am mastering my emotions. Because the first step to true power is acknowledging that it lies within you. 3. Living fully in the present. In Moral Letters to Lucilius, Seneca challenges us with a piercing question. You are scared of dying, but tell me, is the kind of life you lead really any different from being dead? This is the brutal truth most people refuse to face. They don't fear death itself. They fear the realization that they have never truly lived. They wake up, go to work, scroll through their phones, worry about the future, repeat the cycle, and call it life. But is it? Imagine this. You are given only 30 seconds to say something to the person you love most. What would you say? Would you tell them how much they mean to you? Would you express gratitude for the moments you shared? Now imagine waking up tomorrow to find out you'll never get the chance again. This is exactly what happened to a man who always told himself, "I'll visit my father tomorrow." One morning he woke up and his father was gone. No more chances, no more tomorrows, only regret. Most people live under the illusion that they have all the time in the world. They assume they can postpone happiness, love, and adventure until later. But later is an illusion. Every second you spend lost in meaningless distractions, worrying about things outside your control, scrolling through endless feeds, drowning in stress, is a second you will never get back. How much of your life have you already lost to things that don't matter? A man diagnosed with terminal cancer once shared his greatest regret. I spent too much time worrying about things that didn't matter. If I could go back, I wouldn't waste another second. I'd spend every moment with the people I love. This realization often comes too late. But you have the chance to learn from it now. Instead of waiting for a life-altering moment to wake you up, why not wake up today? We live in an era of constant noise, social media notifications, endless to-do lists, and a culture that glorifies busyness. But what are we really chasing? A promotion? More likes? The next milestone? And while we obsess over the future, we miss out on what's happening now. Think about the last time you had a meal with a friend. Were you truly present, or were you distracted? Checking your phone, thinking about work, mentally rehearsing a conversation you plan to have later. This is what life has become. People sitting together, yet disconnected, lost in separate digital worlds. But the moments that matter, the ones that bring true fulfillment, are the ones where we are fully present. No phone, no distractions, just the raw, real experience of being alive. Living fully doesn't require dramatic changes. It begins with small, intentional actions. Put your phone away when talking to someone. Make eye contact. Listen, really listen, without thinking about what you'll say next. Be fully engaged in conversations rather than mentally planning your next move. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on what you have rather than what's missing. Studies show that people who actively practice gratitude are happier, less stressed, and more fulfilled. Why? Because they train themselves to notice and appreciate the now. Practice memento mori, the Stoic exercise of remembering that your time is limited, not to create fear, but to bring clarity and urgency to how you live. If today were your last day, how would you spend it? What conversations would you have? What regrets would you erase? This is where most people fail. They understand the importance of living in the present, but they don't act on it. They continue scrolling, procrastinating, promising themselves they'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. So here's your challenge. Pick up your phone and call someone you love. Don't wait. Don't postpone. Just do it. Commit to being fully present in one conversation today. No phone, no distractions, just presence. If you're truly committed to living fully, comment below. I am living fully in the present. Because if you don't take action now, when will you? Fourth, building meaningful and lasting relationships. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another, teach them or endure them." The Stoics understood a fundamental truth: human beings are not meant to walk through life alone. Yet, in the modern world, many people unknowingly isolate themselves in pursuit of success, productivity, or even the illusion of independence. They assume relationships will always be there, that friends will always understand, that family will always wait. But time doesn't wait, and neither do the people in our lives. A young professional, ambitious and focused, is constantly busy. Between meetings, deadlines, and personal goals, he rarely makes time for anything outside of work. His best friend from college, someone he once talked to daily, sends him a message. "Hey, we should catch up soon. Let's grab coffee this weekend." He sees the message, smiles, and thinks, "I'll respond later when I'm less busy." But the weekend comes and goes, and so does the next. Eventually, months pass, and when they finally do meet, something has changed. The friendship is still there, but it feels different, distant, unfamiliar. They laugh and reminisce, but in the back of his mind, he wonders how many moments they've lost simply because he was too busy. How often do we take our relationships for granted, believing that connection will always be effortless? We live in an era of hyper-connectivity, yet people feel lonelier than ever. They accumulate followers but lose true friends. They prioritize emails over real conversations, scrolling over shared experiences. But at the end of life, no one remembers their bank balance, their career milestones, or the number of likes on a post. What they remember are the people, the ones who stood by them, the ones they laughed with, the ones who made life worth living. A groundbreaking Harvard study spanning over 80 years revealed an undeniable truth. The key to a happy and fulfilling life is not money, fame, or success. It's strong, meaningful relationships. People who nurture deep relationships live longer, experience less stress, and have a greater sense of purpose. Those who neglect relationships, no matter how successful they are, often find themselves filled with regret in their later years. But relationships, like gardens, don't flourish without care. They require time, presence, and effort. If you haven't reached out to a friend in months, do it today. Don't just assume they know you care. Show them. Make it a habit to spend at least 30 minutes a week reconnecting with someone important. When you talk, truly listen. Put your phone down, make eye contact, absorb what they are saying instead of planning your response. The simple act of active listening can transform the quality of any relationship. And now, here's your challenge. Pick up your phone and call or text a friend or family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Tell them you appreciate them, that you've been thinking of them. If you're ready to prioritize the people who matter, comment, "I am building stronger relationships." Because in the end, life is measured not by what we own, but by the love we share. 5. Lifelong learning and self-development. In Moral Letters to Lucilius, Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This is not just a call to gain knowledge, it is a call to master the art of living itself. Learning is not something we complete in school, It is a lifelong pursuit. Those who stop learning do not just stagnate, they regress. The world is constantly evolving, and standing still means falling behind. Knowledge is not just power, it is the key to freedom, better choices, and a life lived on your own terms. Imagine two employees working at the same company. The first man is content with what he knows. He clocks in, does his job, and leaves. Years pass, and his responsibilities remain the same. One day the company announces layoffs. His role is now obsolete, and with no new skills to offer, he is let go. The second man, however, never stops learning. He studies emerging trends in his industry, takes online courses, and develops new skills in communication and negotiation. When layoffs come, he is not worried. His skills are in demand. In fact, he is offered a promotion. The difference? One viewed learning as a burden, the other saw it as an investment. Too many people believe that once they finish school, their education is complete. But this mindset is dangerous. The world is constantly changing, and industries evolve faster than ever before. What was valuable yesterday may be irrelevant tomorrow. If you stop learning, you stop growing. And if you stop growing, you start falling behind. Think about how the world has changed in just the last decade. New technologies, new industries, and new ways of working have emerged. Those who adapted and learned new skills thrived. Those who remained in their comfort zones struggled. It's not intelligence that determines success. It's the willingness to keep learning. The greatest minds in history never stopped learning. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the most brilliant individuals to ever live, pursued knowledge relentlessly across multiple fields: art, science, engineering, anatomy. He understood that the more you learn, the more you realize how much there is left to know. A lack of knowledge leads to dependence. If you don't understand personal finance, you become a slave to debt. If you don't improve your communication skills, you limit your career opportunities. If you don't develop emotional intelligence, you let others manipulate you. Knowledge is more than just facts. It is the foundation of personal power. Lifelong learning gives you control. When you know how to manage money, negotiate, problem solve, or think critically, you make better decisions. You navigate challenges with confidence. You create opportunities instead of waiting for them. And most importantly, you build a life on your terms. But personal development isn't just about consuming information. It's about applying it. Passive learning, watching videos, reading books, or attending seminars without action achieves nothing. True learning happens when you practice, experiment, and apply what you know in the real world. Each month, choose a new skill to develop. It could be financial management, public speaking, negotiation, or problem solving. The key is to focus on skills that create real impact. Even reading just 10 pages a day can compound into a lifetime of wisdom. Books are the fastest way to absorb the knowledge of those who have mastered life before you. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you is equally important. Mentors, experts, and successful individuals expand your mindset and force you to grow beyond your comfort zone. The best way to retain knowledge is to share it. Teach someone else what you know, and you'll deepen your own understanding. Most people agree that learning is important, but few make it a priority. They get distracted, busy, or comfortable. And then one day they wake up and realize they've spent years standing still while the world moved forward. If you don't actively seek knowledge, you will become a prisoner of your own ignorance. Now, here's your challenge. Pick one skill you will commit to learning this month. Declare it in the comments and make it real. Say, I am investing in my future, because those who never stop learning are the ones who never stop winning. 6. Setting clear career goals. In Discourses, Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Clarity of purpose is the foundation of all great achievements. Without it, effort is scattered, progress is slow, and years can pass without meaningful growth. Many people mistake being busy for being productive, but the truth is, without a clear destination, even the hardest work can lead nowhere. A man walks into a job interview with confidence. He has 5 years of experience in his field, believing it will set him apart. But after a brief conversation, the interviewer shakes his head. I'm sorry, but we're looking for someone with real professional growth. Confused, the man asks, I don't understand. I have 5 years of experience. Why am I not qualified? The response is brutally honest. You don't have 5 years of experience. You have 1 year of experience that you've repeated 5 times. In that moment, he realizes he has spent years working, but not growing. He has been comfortable, stagnant, and unaware that his skills have remained the same while the industry moved forward without him. This is the reality for many professionals. They think they are advancing simply because time is passing. But time doesn't equal progress. Intentional effort does. A person without career goals is like a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the wind takes it. Some people wake up every day and go to work without questioning where they're headed, only to realize years later that they've been running on a treadmill, moving but never truly getting anywhere. The most successful people in history didn't leave their careers to chance. Jeff Bezos, before founding Amazon, wrote a long-term vision of what his company would become. He didn't just see Amazon as an online bookstore. He saw its potential to dominate e-commerce worldwide. That level of clarity allowed him to make decisions that aligned with his ultimate vision, rather than being swayed by short-term trends or immediate profits. This is why Amazon is not just another company, it is an empire. The question is, do you have that level of clarity for your own career? If you don't define your destination, someone else will define it for you. Instead of drifting, take control. Start by writing down 3 specific career goals for 2025. Not vague dreams like be successful, but clear, measurable objectives like earn a professional certification or get promoted to a leadership role. Then, break those goals into actionable steps. What skills do you need to develop? What habits must you build? How will you track your progress? And now, the real challenge. Write one career goal in the comments right now. Declare it. Make it real. If you are serious about taking control of your future, comment, I am taking charge of my career, because clarity is power, and power belongs to those who act. 7. Sustainable financial strategy. In Discourses, Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True financial freedom doesn't come from accumulating more, but from needing less. Yet, in today's world, people measure success by the size of their paycheck, the brand of their car, or the square footage of their house, without realizing that wealth without control is an illusion. 2 men, 2 financial paths, 2 drastically different outcomes. The first wins a $10 million lottery jackpot. Overnight, his life transforms. He buys a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, and vacations in the most extravagant locations. Friends and distant relatives suddenly appear, asking for loans, investments, and gifts. He indulges, believing the money will last forever. 3 years later, he is bankrupt. The second man earns a modest salary of $50,000 per year. Unlike the lottery winner, he understands one fundamental principle. Money is not about how much you make, but how much you keep. He lives below his means, invests wisely, and consistently saves. After 3 years, his net worth exceeds $100,000. The difference? One relied on fortune, the other relied on discipline. This is not just a theoretical lesson, it is a statistical reality. Studies show that 90% of lottery winners go bankrupt within 5 years. Why? Because wealth without financial literacy is like pouring water into a broken cup. No matter how much is added, it will eventually run dry. On the other hand, some of the wealthiest individuals in history live with a surprising level of simplicity. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men on the planet, still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. He could afford the most extravagant lifestyle, but he chooses financial discipline over excess. His wealth grows, not because of reckless spending, but because of smart, long-term financial decisions. If you don't control your finances will control you. It's not about making more money, it's about managing it effectively. Start by tracking every expense for 1 week. Awareness is the first step to financial mastery. Then, set a structured budget, 50% for necessities, 30% for savings, 20% for investments. Your future self will thank you for every dollar wisely allocated today. And if you truly want to transform your financial mindset, read a book on personal finance, because knowledge compounds just like money does. Here's your challenge. Eliminate one unnecessary expense this week. Skip a purchase you don't truly need, and see how it feels to reclaim control. If you are serious about securing your financial future, comment, "I am taking control of my finances." Because wealth isn't about what you earn, it's about what you keep. 8. Deepening spiritual connection. In the endless pursuit of success, wealth, and recognition, many people climb the ladder of achievement only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. They reach the top but feel empty. Something is missing. Seneca once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Yet, how many of us truly take the time to retreat inward, to explore the depths of our own existence? A successful entrepreneur once had everything: money, a luxurious lifestyle, and a reputation others envied. But despite all of it, he felt restless. At night, he would stare at the ceiling, wondering, "Is this all there is?" He had spent years chasing external success, but had never paused to understand himself. It wasn't until he began practicing meditation, spending just 10 minutes each day in silence, that he discovered something life-changing. True peace does not come from what we own, but from what we understand about ourselves. Spiritual connection does not require religion, rituals, or grand gestures. It is the simple act of looking inward, of finding meaning beyond material things. It could be through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in stillness, listening to your thoughts instead of drowning them in distractions. Many people fear silence because it forces them to face the questions they have long ignored. But those who embrace it discover something remarkable: a deeper sense of clarity, purpose, and inner strength. Imagine a person constantly reacting to life, every setback, every insult, every stressor dictating their emotions. Now, picture someone else who, no matter what happens, remains calm, centered, and composed. The difference is not intelligence, luck, or circumstance. The difference is internal stability, the ability to find peace within rather than seeking it from the outside world. If you want to cultivate this unshakable peace, start small. Dedicate 5 minutes each morning to mindfulness. Before checking your phone, before diving into obligations, simply sit with yourself. Practice gratitude. Write down 3 things each day that bring you joy. Reflect on the bigger picture. Instead of getting lost in daily worries, remind yourself of what truly matters. Now, here's your challenge. Spend just 5 minutes today in complete silence. No phone, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. If you're ready to deepen your spiritual connection, comment, "I am finding peace within," because the greatest journey you will ever take is not out into the world, it is inward. 9. Giving more. Seneca once wrote, "No man can live happily who has regard to himself alone and transforms everything into a question of his own utility. You must live for your neighbor if you would live for yourself." The Stoics understood something that modern society often forgets. True happiness does not come from what we acquire, but from what we give. For most of life, people chase personal success. They work tirelessly to build a career, secure financial stability, improve their health, and nurture relationships. But those who reach these milestones often experience an unexpected realization. Achievement alone does not bring lasting fulfillment. Many wealthy, successful individuals still feel an unexplainable emptiness. The reason? They have spent years accumulating but have never learned the power of giving. A man once dedicated his entire life to making money. He measured success in dollars, in possessions, in titles. One day, he achieved everything he had ever wanted. His bank account was overflowing. His house was massive. His car was the latest model. But when he sat in his luxurious home, he felt nothing, no excitement, no purpose, just a lingering question. Is this all? Contrast that with a woman who, despite having a modest income, volunteers at a shelter every weekend. She teaches children, donates what little she can, and offers her time to those in need. She is not famous, nor does she own extravagant things, yet every day she feels something priceless. A deep, unwavering sense of fulfillment. Giving is not about grand gestures or public recognition. It is about shifting the focus from ourselves to something greater. When we give, we remind ourselves that life is not just about what we can take, but about how we can uplift those around us. And the irony? The more we give, the richer we become, not in wealth, but in meaning. But generosity is not just about money. It is about giving time, kindness, and wisdom. A simple act, mentoring someone, sharing knowledge, being there for a friend, can change someone's life more than we realize. The world is full of people who need encouragement, support, and hope. And if you are in a position to give, why wouldn't you? If you want to make giving a core part of your life, start small. Donate a small amount to a cause you believe in. Offer your time to someone in need. Express gratitude and kindness daily. These simple actions have a ripple effect, touching lives in ways we may never see. Now, here's your challenge. Find one way to give today, whether it's your time, a kind word, or a small act of generosity. If you are committed to making giving a way of life, comment, "I choose to give more." Because in the end, our greatest legacy is not what we take from the world, but what we leave behind. 2025 is not just another year, it's your year. The Stoics believe that we are the authors of our own fate, and the decisions we make today determine the life we will live tomorrow. So, what will you choose? Will you let another year slip away, repeating the same patterns, making the same excuses? Or will you take control, set clear goals, and finally live with purpose? You now have 9 powerful goals, not just ideas, but a roadmap to transformation. But knowledge alone changes nothing. Action is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Right now, declare your commitment. Comment below. Which of these goals will you start working on first? Say it out loud, write it down, make it real. And if this video inspired you, share it with someone who needs this message. Let's build a community of people who refuse to live on autopilot, who choose growth, resilience, and meaning. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, because this journey doesn't end here. We are just getting started. Your best year begins now. Are you ready? Let's go.